We're just ordinary people. Maybe we should take it slow.
Fitting cruise for Bryan?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hop in.
All right.
So why don't we talk a little bit about Jira?
Sure.
And I think we talked about the importance of governance,
Yes.
right? And so why don't you kind of give me a little bit about your history, your thoughts, your comments, your concerns about that topic?
I think Jira governance is really key for a couple of reasons. One, I think it's really one that everybody thinks about, which is, oh my gosh, I don't want to have, 1,000 different workflows, each one for a different project, or, 300 projects, 5,000 extra custom fields, each one only used once in a project. My favorite is custom fields that are specifically for one service request that is asking a question.
Yes, it's like yes or no. I've had those, many of those.
Absolutely. And so I think governance really makes sure that you have a structure for how you're putting your stuff together. So when you need to make changes to it, it's not so hard that you're always, it's like you don't have a knot or string that you're trying to pull apart. But then the other thing that I think I didn't give enough credit to was good governance allows citizen developers. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I've been experiencing is how many of our developers don't know how Jira works.
Yeah, it blows my mind sometimes.
Yeah, but we don't give them a reason. If everything has to come through us because everything's so complicated, then why would they ever take any opportunity to learn how Jira works?
Right, yeah. I mean, to them, it's just something that gets in the way.
Oh, so often. And I'd rather have our developers be partners with us in governance and understand how, when they make changes, it affects something, so they can come to me and ask me something tangible that makes sense, and we can spend less time implementing or getting to where they're getting something that improves their workflows and gives them the ability to work faster.
So how do you feel about maybe standardizing software development, at least as far as the workflows and processes go? Because one of the biggest challenges I see is that everybody kind of has their own unique snowflake type of situation, right? They kind of want to do things in their own manner. They have their own, the thing that usually gets me is the difference between in development and in progress. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah, I think we really try to start our developers from, I always tell them, start with the minimum number of statuses you can come up with. Mm-hmm. And then we also sort of come up with, there's a base number of custom field, or base number of fields that everybody needs. Those are the ones so that we can roll things up to the top. We can do a better job of understanding what's happening across the organization. And then, you can try different things, but we really ask folks to ensure that the addition of what they're asking is actually going to prove out to be valuable.
Right.
So if we try to let them have a space to try that out in a sandbox or a development environment where they can actually prove out this idea.
So do you ever sit with them though and kind of help them figure it out?
Okay. Yeah, a lot of times what we do is we sit down and we'll talk about what their goals are, what they're interested in. I try not to implement anything in Jira until I actually have a wireframe done.
Okay.
So that we really have taken the time to plan it all out. And I ask why do you need that? What benefit is that going to bring?
Right.
You can't get that signal from somewhere else?
Yeah, that's usually what when I'm teaching or training, working with new Jira admins, I tell them that the hardest part is being a Jira admin is not knowing how to add a custom field or add a status to a workflow. It's knowing when to say yes or no or that, because you got to negotiate these, right? Because sometimes they're good ideas, sometimes they're not, sometimes they're necessary, sometimes they're not, and it's beauty is in the eye of the beholder when it comes to Jira.
Being a Jira admin, I think actually one of the best things I ever did for becoming a Jira admin was take a Scrum Master course. And it's not because Agile or Scrum or one particular way is important, but what taking that course taught me was how much being a Scrum Master is just the team, supporting them, making them feel heard, helping them, see the value or find consensus or work together. And that has really benefited me in my Jira career because it could be anything.
Right.
The problem is that people are trying to gain control of something. People want to add a field or take away a field or change a workflow. It's because they don't feel like they have their stuff under control. And so what we're trying to do is help them find a sense of control, or help them understand how much control they really can have or can't have. Sometimes it's helping them, helping them become comfortable with not knowing everything.
Now, do you typically work with the software developers themselves, or do you kind of work with the leads, or working with management? Like, who are you usually interfacing with?
I'm usually working with honestly, everybody.
Everybody?
Yeah, and generally, we're trying to standardize it now. We just built a governance committee.
Okay.
And actually, a governance council. I didn't want to call it a committee because committees are where things go to die. So we built a council, and they have representatives from each different parts of the whole business. It's not even just our developers. It's our security team. It's our finance team. It's our HR team. And we have one person that's sort of the person who knows that business unit well enough to help understand whether things that people are proposing are valuable overall to the business, or if it's something that should be prioritized or not.
Right.
Because my experience is we always have too much work.
Oh yeah, there's never a shortage of work.
No, it's just picking which one needs to be done, and the person who put the ticket in always wants their thing done.
I can't tell you how many custom priority fields I have, because everything's a priority, everything's an emergency, and you need to balance out everybody's fires.
Yeah, exactly. It's really true. We actually just went through the exercise. It started in our IT department. Actually, we just collapsed all of our entire any group that's in IT that has a project. It has the same Epic and initiative workflows, fields.
I like all of that. I usually like to tell people epics, initiatives, anything above epics, standard.
Yeah.
Company-wide, because these should really impact, at least the initiative.
Right.
Should really be for the whole team, the whole company, right?
Yep.
Then the story, the subtasks, if you have a spike, you can get a little bit more creative there. Yeah. A little bit more unique. And I like to maybe say, hey, here's a non-tech workflow for your non-tech teams.
Yep.
Here's a tech workflow because your software developers should ideally, I'm not saying it has to be exactly the same, but they should be able to speak apples to apples.
Yes.
Because if you have one team that does code reviews and another team that doesn't, and one team has this as a status and the other one doesn't, it doesn't let the teams jump between teams, right? Because then they're going to have to relearn Jira.
Exactly.
And it's just, so I like standardizing like that.
Right, so it's not really about the workflows. Once again, it's not about the technical project. It's about the team formation underneath. Mm-hmm. It's about how those teams work together, how their managers teach them to work together. I find the biggest layer of issue is that second layer of management, not the team leads, but then the people above them or above them who are close enough to having been in IC that they had a lot of opinions about how things should go. Now they finally have the power to sort of make some of that happen.
Right.
And so they're like, no, we should do it this way. And they don't think about what the impact is because they just know how long they labored under a thing that was really frustrating to them.
Right. Yeah, I usually come into a team and you'll be like, well, we've been doing this for the last 10 years or whatever, but there's a new sheriff in town, so we're redoing the whole thing.
Yep.
So let's talk a little bit about hardware. I know a lot of teams that use Jira are usually software-driven teams, but Jira can be used for a lot of different types of teams, and hardware teams are usually my edge case, or I wouldn't really call it an edge case, but there's definitely a unique use case where I think you need a little bit of extra steps than the traditional software team. So you guys are a hardware company, so what do your configurations look like from that perspective?
I mean, truthfully, our hardware teams are still learning really to use Jira. Generally, they've used Jira not for the development practice, but mostly for tracking bugs.
Okay.
They've managed their hardware process sort of outside of Jira because I think because of this exact thing, they didn't see Jira as a tool that was meant for them because it was not, it was for software.
So let's talk about the definition of done then. So when is something done? Was it when the software's done? When the hardware is integrated? I'm assuming you guys do different layers of testing.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming you do some sort of simulation-based testing, maybe then some physical testing.
Yeah.
When is this done?
I mean, I think that this is a thing that we are continuing to learn and to evolve on and integrate because There is a step when the hardware is done. That's when all the defects are out of the hardware itself and the build is
But what
good.
does Jira look like from that perspective, though? Do you have different Jira projects per team?
Yeah, we have different Jira projects for our hardware projects. And again, for today, mostly it's as they're working through the build process, then bugs will come in and they'll track those bugs in Jira. But they don't track the hardware build process itself in Jira today.
Okay.
That's the thing that I think is going to be our next evolution as we sort of align the company into everybody using Jira more in an integrated way. It used to be that our hardware and software teams were much more divided. And now we have, we've sort of gone the functional model where we've got different business units and groups around a theme. And so the hardware developers and the software developers are working a lot closer together. So that's going to, I think, impact the need to bring everybody into Jira together more effectively.
Yeah, that's a good point. Now we're getting here towards the last leg of our trip.
Yeah.
And I heard something special when I got to see you back in February, but I was wondering if it's not too much pressure. Maybe a little dance number or a little something.
Oh, a little singing?
Yeah, a little singing.
Yeah, I can't dance in the car. That'd be a little hard. Goodness, what should we sing?
Oh, I don't know.
Hey, we're just ordinary people. We don't know which way to go. We're just ordinary people. Maybe we should take it slow. Take it slow. Oh, oh, oh. This time we'll take it slow. Take it slow. Oh, oh, oh. This time we'll take it slow.
Like you should, your Jira configuration changes.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Take it slow.
We're just ordinary admins.
Yeah, and worst case scenario, this is where it's really opportune to have a tool like Salto on your side, right? Because
yes,
it lets you, in case you don't go slow, manage those changes, right?
Yep.
And it's a really powerful tool, especially for tools that are like always on the move, always just doing quickly.
Yeah.
And not taking it slow.
And the ability to manage those changes through code is a really big deal and something that we really, really appreciate. I had to clean up a bunch of stuff, and so I was able to quickly find all of the configurations that reference a certain field. And I could just do a search, just like I was doing with any other code in GitHub.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Of course. And don't forget, say hi to Knuckles.
And hopefully I'll see you on the expo floor.
All right.
Special thanks to Salto for putting this entire initiative together. Salto is a complete DevOps platform for configuration management for Jira, JSM, and Confluence. It allows teams to automatically copy configurations between sites, whether you're doing sandbox to production or a cloud production to another cloud production. It does it really, really well, and most importantly, very, very easily.